what are the biggest challenges you face as a private attorney representing diverse interests before WTO dispute settlement panels in the appellate body?
Well, I guess it depends what you mean by greatest challenges in terms of, I think as a lawyer representing private interests, i.e. those of certain companies, the biggest challenge is what do we ultimately gain out of a victory at the WTO? So the question of remedies is a very important one for companies. And it means that they will probably only support a challenge if it addresses a measure which they know will otherwise stay in place for many years to come, and that they've tried everything domestically already and see the WTO as a potential sort of way of putting political pressure on the particular government to change its particular measure. If you're talking from sort of a more procedural point of view, what are the challenges, then I would say the total absence of any rules on evidence are often a serious problem, especially as a defendant, because you don't know what is coming your way. For the complainant, it opens opportunities, because you can surprise people with an expert who shows up at the second meeting only. But I think from a defendant's point of view, that absence of clear guidelines as to what kind of evidence is admissible and what kind of evidence is expected of you is problematic.
So how do you address, similar situations?
In respect of the latter?
When you're a defendant, yeah.
When you're a defendant, no, you try to sort of argue on the basis of common sense, good faith, but ultimately, you'll have to address, you forget the procedure, and you'll address the substance of that expert or that particular piece of evidence which was submitted very late in the day, and you cannot rely on a procedural defense. You'll have to address the substance of the issue, and unfortunate as that may be, perhaps for the system as a whole, one could argue that it's good to have a lack of procedural rules inhibiting the substantive review of the issues.
This is your first experience in our executive training seminars, organized under the aegis of the Academy for Global Governance and organized by Dr. Tommaso Rooms. So what struck you most about this seminar, and what do you take away from the seminar when you go back home tonight or tomorrow?
What I take away from it is basically that you always learn. I always learn, even though I'm here here to present my views as a practitioner on WTO litigation. I learn from the other speakers about the role of economics, which I find interesting because it's it's not an area of law, but it's an area of expertise that I'm not sufficiently familiar with, and I realize it is becoming more and more important in the WTO, and especially in WTO dispute settlement. So I'm learning as well as all of the people that are participating, and I assume if I'm learning from this, they must be learning as well.